Christmas in July, Christmas in August, maybe. We'll see. West Virginia is still waiting word from the NCAA on eligibility for 4 of their players, all of which could be very big contributors for the Mountaineers this season. We'll talk about that here today on Between The Eers. How are we doing, everybody? Skylar Callahan with another episode of Between The Eers. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. It is officially the eve of fall camp in Morgantown. It is back. We are just a month away or so from kicking things off against Robert Morris in week 1. And we're going to have plenty of things to talk about between now and then, whether it's position battles, guys on the rise, players to watch out for, a whole lot of stuff going to be talked about here in the coming weeks. So make sure you hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page to get all the content that you need. And also check out our website, West Virginia on SI. So, as we get ready to kick camp off, there is a big question, or 4 of them, if you will, hanging around this West Virginia football team, and that is whether or not 4 players are going to have an extra year of eligibility. And it's a very, very complicated, detailed situation that's really kind of hard to follow. And I've spent a lot of time on this trying to figure it out and understanding if they have a case, if they don't have a case. And I still really can't form an opinion on any of the 4 just because it's so unpredictable. One minute you think that a player doesn't have a case and he gets granted an extra year of eligibility and vice versa. So I don't know what's going to happen in these 4 particular cases, but I can run down through each of their histories and explain what could happen if West Virginia does not have these guys on the roster for 2025. So let's go ahead and do this position by position. There's 4 of these guys, so we'll start with probably the biggest name of the 4, and that is UTSA pass rushing transfer Jamori Robinson. Was the American Athletic Conference's Defensive Player of the Year last year, had 17 tackles for loss, 10 sacks. He's going to be West Virginia's go-to guy to get after the passer if he is available. It's not even a question. He could be the best player on this defense, probably would be the best player on this defense, and probably has the highest ceiling of anybody on that side that could be drafted in next year's draft. So he's somebody that West Virginia desperately needs. And as I mentioned in one of my articles yesterday, if he's not available, I don't know where the pass rush is going to come from between Eddie Kelly Jr., Edward Vesterinen, Hammond Russell, those 3 combined, and they're all in their final year of playing football at the college level, have 10.5 sacks combined. So they're going to have to get creative. If they don't have Jimmori Robinson, they're still going to have to get a little creative anyways, but even more so if Robinson cannot play. And there you see the history for Jamori. He played a year at Dodge City Community College, then went to Monroe Community College, made the jump up to UTSA in 2021 where he redshirted and then played 3 straight years. Because of this whole situation where they're going to potentially give players a year back of eligibility because of playing in JUCO, Robinson, he played 2 years at JUCO. He also had one of those years as a COVID year and redshirted in 2021. So there's really those first 3 years you can make a case that they don't count towards his eligibility. Dodge City, that's a junior college year. 2020 was a COVID-affected year. 2021 was a redshirt year for him. So he's played 3 years of Division I football. So for Jamori Robinson, on paper it makes sense. I think he has a case. I don't know if he will or not. We'll have to see. Let's move to the back end of the defense. Justin Harrington, the safety, projected to be a starting safety. That is at one of the safety spots in Zach Alley's defense. Began his career at Bakersfield Community College all the way back in 2018. Yeah, the same year that Will Greer was the starting quarterback in Morgantown. He played there for 2 years, went to Oklahoma in 2020, which, of course, COVID year. 2021, he redshirted. 2022 Oklahoma, 2023 Oklahoma, but he only played in 2 games for the Sooners in 23 before he suffered a season-ending injury. So there's another year. And then last year, 2024 at Washington. So again, he's only played 3 seasons of Division I football where he's been healthy, played more than 4 games, and is not affected by anything else. 18-19 was JUCO. He probably gets 1 year back out of that. Oklahoma 2020 was the COVID year. Redshirted a year, got injured a year. So, again, on paper, he's been in college for seemingly forever. But if we're talking about Division I opportunities, I don't know how this is all going to go because they could take every case differently. But on paper, he should be able to get 1 more extra year. Going to running back, Tye Edwards. Georgia Military Academy in 2019. 2 years at Hutchinson Community College in 2020, 2021. Played only 3 games at UTSA in 22, 23, 24. He spent at UNI. Again, you would think probably has a case. Jeff Weimer, or Weimer, not exactly sure how we pronounce this one yet, but we're gonna go with Jeff Weimer. He spent some time at the junior college level as well. We don't have a graphic up here for this one, but he spent time at Hartnell College, City College of San Francisco. Also had that COVID year. He played at UNLV and Idaho State recently. I'm not sure exactly, again, from the most likely to the least likely, who has the best case and who doesn't. But I would expect Weimer would probably maybe on paper have the least. I don't know. It's so subjective, and I don't know that there's a clear answer to any of this. But there's a reason why West Virginia took all 4 of these guys. They felt very confidently about their opportunity to play for them in 2025. They knew the risk that came with it because there was no certainty that they were going to have that additional year. But they felt pretty good about their chances. But here we are on the eve of fall camp, and they're still waiting on an answer. Partially, this is on the NCAA. Some of this could be blamed on the courts. There's enough blame to go around. But for this to be dragged out as long as it has is ridiculous. I mean, we are about to start practice, and we don't have an answer. Like, at some point, West Virginia's going to have to make some decisions with its starting lineup and with its 2 deep, certain packages that they're going to roll out there on defense. And they need to know these answers. They need to know if they're going to have guys like Jamori Robinson, who could be a complete game changer for them in the pass game. They need to have that answer. They need to know if they're going to have to look at another starting safety and not have Justin Harrington. And offensively, the same thing goes there. Do they have a short yardage back that they can go to if Tye Edwards isn't there? Who do they rep there? Tye Edwards is a much different looking back than he is to Jaheim White and Jalen Knighton and Cannon Katzer, Dior Hubbard. He's big. He's physical. He's a completely different build than what everybody else that exists in that room. They've got to figure out who to delegate those reps to if he's not going to be there. So, I mean, it's ridiculous to me that this is dragged out this long. And when you don't know exactly who to blame, just blame the NCAA, I guess, right? They drag their feet on everything else. They are a part of this equation. It's not, again, totally on them, but it's a big part of it. And the fact that we are 1 day away, 1 sleep away from practice starting, we don't know these answers. Again, maybe this gets solved 2 seconds after I post this, but it's unlikely. It's ridiculous. They need to figure this out, get this situation solved, and allow the coaching staff to make their moves. So, to me, I think the 2 biggest are going to be Edwards and Robinson. They have a ton of guys at the safety positions that I feel like they can make up for Harrington if he's not there. Weimer at receiver, he's been productive. He's been in college a long time. But if Jaden Bray stays healthy and becomes the guy that everyone kind of expected him to last year, maybe that doesn't make that as big of a hit. Also, you're running the ball potentially 55, 60% of the time anyways. Losing a one receiver isn't necessarily the end of the world, especially when he isn't going to be probably your number one or number two guy. But for Jamori Robinson, again, we already touched on it. 10 sacks, 17 tackles for loss last year. He was the AAC Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's a legitimate game changer. If he's not on the field, that changes a lot of what Zach Alley can do defensively. They've got to find a pass rush, whether that's some of the younger guys, whether it's a junior college transfer, somebody like Devin Grant, Adam Tomzak. I know some of those guys can bounce back and forth between Bandit and the D line, but still, it's going to force them to shuffle up some things to try and find some answers. At running back, I still feel like they'll be okay because you have Jaheim, you have Jalen Knight, and those two are going to eat up most of the carries anyway. But again, when it comes to the short yardage stuff, and this is not saying that Tye Edwards is going to be exclusively a short yardage back. He can handle all the other stuff as well, just as Jaheim and Jalen can. But that's going to be an area where he can eliminate some of those unnecessary hits on Jaheim and on Jalen because he's bigger, broader, and he can absorb those hits probably much easier than those two can. You don't want those little guys, even though they're big. He's pretty big for his size, but you don't want him taking those hits on 4th and 1 or on 4th and goal for no reason when you have a 230-pound back like Tye Edwards, you can hand the ball off to and just let him hammer it in between the tackles. So if Edwards is not there, maybe Dior Hubbard steps up in that role. I don't really know. They're going to have to find it out or figure it out one way or another because I don't think you want Jaheim or Jalen to take on that role of being a short yardage back. If they have to, they have to. But I think ideally, Edwards is eligible and they don't have to worry about it. But we're going to have to continue to wait on the NCAA and other folks to make this decision. So when the news drops, it'll happen at some point. They'll get the answer. We'll have it for you on West Virginia on SI at our website. We'll also probably talk about it here on Between the Eers. I don't know if we'll have a whole episode dedicated to it, but we'll definitely come back on here and discuss it and what it means. So make sure, again, you hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. Give us a like, and we will be back tomorrow as we open up fall camp in Morgantown. I'll have Eugene Napoleon with me, and we're going to discuss some running backs, some of the stuff with the offense, and all that good stuff. So make sure you're back with us here tomorrow on Between the Eers.